All right, we'll get the other stream going. Boom. How's everybody doing? Okay. All right, we are creating the Twitter broadcast. It looks like it's working. Okay. Cool. All right, I think it's live. I think it's working. Okay, so, yo, hey Nacho, welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, future dad. It's happening soon. I got my wife an exercise ball. It's supposed to help with some of the prenatal stretching and also bouncing the baby to sleep. But I'm rocking it now. It's not just Prime. I'm trying this out. Look at this. Yeah, that's the play. So far, I used it this week, and I had a one-on-one with my boss, and I was just like sitting here, kind of like just like this. And he's like, "Are you bouncing on your chair?" And I'm like, "No, I got the exercise ball going." Okay, sweet. So we got a bunch of stuff to do today. First off, okay, so I've got a list of things I want to try. We can talk about Nacho, whatever you're interested, or whoever else wants to chime in. There's been a lot of talk about serverless is dead, so I want to talk about why you don't have to be scared of serverless containers and how you can really easily move stuff around or build your application however you want to build it and then host it wherever you want to host it. Those can be separate things. You don't have to be all in on one tech to make that work. You can totally do that on serverless. I want to fix the curler counter, so we broke that last week. We're gonna get that going. Marco sent me a PR, so we're gonna check that out today too. And then something Dax and I have been talking about is remote environments. For the longest time, I worked exclusively on a remote setup. So I would get to work every day. I would SSH into so I had like a laptop, and then at my desk I had a very powerful Dell machine, and it actually had it was like super juiced, and I would just like SSH there. I had a permanent TMUX session, everything running there forever. I liked it a lot. I ran into a couple of tricky things that were like easy to do in a GUI, but a little trickier to do remotely. But otherwise it was super awesome. And then, okay, there was this tweet from Cole McCarthy about hash maps. And I think this is like, he's so good at this. Let me find it. Oh, and I have to tweet about this. So yeah, this is just a great tweet. And I want to talk about this case, but like the funny thing about hash tables is that they're very, very often not even remotely close to O of 1 performance. And you would be forgiven for thinking Colm is just talking about insert performance, right? When you're like adding an element, but it's also like lookup performance. So we can talk about that. And I'm going to share my understanding. I'm sure there's far more. Like I don't know where my depth of knowledge fits in here. I think Grant talked about this. Like incredible candidates can tell you. What were they saying? Oh yeah, this whole thing. Oh, here we go. Passable, just knowing the time complexity and use cases is comfortable using. Good, some implementation details like hashing to an index, one collision resolution mechanism. If better, you can discuss the pros and cons of different hash algorithms, inclusion resolution mechanisms. And then best, all the implementation details in terms of locality, cache implications, etc. I don't know. So I know one resolution mechanism, and that's chaining. I don't remember, like in college, that's all we talked about. And I haven't had to implement my own hash map, but I have had to choose between a buffer queue, like a vec deck or a circular queue. Sorry, and I've also had to between that and like a hash map, and we can talk about that a little bit. It is very demonstrably in a benchmark faster than hash maps in a lot of cases. But then I can talk a lot about memory locality and cache implications because those are things that when they burn you, you don't forget. So that's on the agenda. And then the other thing I do want to talk, this is nuts. Dell's RTO policy, and then how everybody chose, or 50% of people just said, nah, we'll stick around. Maybe we'll talk about that. I don't think I want to veer this channel into like reaction content. But this is wild. It says a lot about the company culture. Maybe it's worth discussing. Maybe this is just what happens to streams as people stream more and more, is like, I've been wanting to talk with people about this, and I've been talking with people about this like at work all week, and maybe that's just partly what this channel will need to be. Anyway, good to see you all. Happy Saturday. Yes, we're very close to baby time. Everything's starting to happen and pile up over here. Pretty exciting. Pretty thrilled. We got to make a tweet. But first we should, we should. Oh, I have a PR. Fix build. Thanks, Marcos. Oh, that's so nice of him. Marcos has been helping me out big. Okay. We'll do a chat. All right, we'll do it. Oh. What do we do here? Oh, it was a different version of Debian. What did I get wrong in the cache here? Oh, I was copying from a local file. That's why. So I copied the whole thing in, and then I was copying my log. That's exactly why. Exactly right. Okay. Boom. Merge. Confirm merge. Sweet. Okay. This is great. All right. Here, we got a screenshot. Let's get the tweet out. And then, yeah, more serverless containers. You're a squash merge kind of guy? Yeah, I'm a squash merge too, except I prefer squash merge or rebase. I think I prefer rebase for working. Squash merge is fine though, because it gives you everything in one commit. However, the merge commit thing, like, I used that for so long, and I didn't actually mind it until I tried the other ones, and I was like, okay, this is actually bad. But if you're the type of person that like looked at your GitHub stars or whatever, or your GitHub dots, squash and merge and rebasing killed it, because it takes all of your work for potentially weeks and puts them into one commit. So I think when the discourse of the senior engineer with the empty GitHub profile came around, I was like, well, you can't like people who know that it's irrelevant. Like if you have one square every 2 weeks, that could be, hundreds of thousands of lines of code or whatever, right? Like many features just squash into one commit. Especially when you have small teams and you're working on big chunks of work. So if you have senior engineers or senior-ish engineers and you're working towards a big ambitious goal, and you're able to divide the work such that engineer A and engineer B's work don't collide, you can work in independent branches and then merge them with relative ease, and then you don't necessarily need to, like, you could work for days on end. I prefer to work in like a day though, if I can. Today, this last week I haven't been, because I'm working on one of those features. I'm implementing a full feature end to end in a new project, and it just doesn't collide with anything else in the project. So it doesn't make sense to just like merge what I have for the sake of merging, because it's not complete yet. It's not releasable or anything. So that's what we're doing, and now I just have like a long-lived branch that's going to live for 2 weeks, but it's going to be thousands of lines of code when it lands. What do we want to do? Yep. The reason I want to talk about serverless containers today is because on Reddit, someone asked about this. I finally made a Reddit account again after years, and this stuff is still pervasive. But yeah, like, generally speaking, I rarely use a container on Lambda to the size, slow start, and inability to use Lambda layers with blow it further. It's like, okay, first off, if you're new to the stream, we don't use Lambda layers. We try really hard not to use Lambda layers. So first and foremost, we'll plug this post right away. This is not for you. Lambda layers are not for you. They're for me. They're for people creating libraries of software, distributing them across AWS accounts to be used in Lambda. That's what they're for. They are not for you to share dependencies. Do not use Lambda layers to share dependencies. That will only burn you. There's 2 different ways it will burn you. I've detailed them in the post. I'm going to post this in Twitch chat and YouTube chat. Don't use Lambda layers. It's just you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna hurt your friends. You're gonna hurt others. Don't do that. So first and foremost, I think that's a big one. These folks are trying to use Lambda Insights extension, which is just a Lambda extension you don't need to use Lambda layers for extensions to work. Hey, Nixia, what's up? What's up? What's up? You don't need to use Lambda layers for this to work. You can just literally copy this extension straight into /opt. Anything in this /opt directory is a magic directory in Lambda, and it will literally just execute each one. Any binary, any file in the top level of the /opt directory will be executed, or attempted to. And if it crashes your whole function. But you don't need Lambda layers for that. And then finally, they were talking about performance, slow starts, and size. Like we've covered this. There's benchmarks that show that this isn't the case. So we should talk about why you don't have to be scared of this anymore. But we just merged this PR from Marcos, who's been hanging out on the stream. So let's go and pull it down and see what's going on. And then I wanted to get the Docker context working. So let's go here. Is the NAS up? Of course it's up. Oh, I say that now, and it hasn't let me in. Is there a classic non-layer way to use a Puppeteer PDF? No, so I would say Puppeteer is a good example of like an exception of why you can use a Lambda layer. If you have a separate binary you need to call out to, that's totally fine. Where it gets you is if you have like a Node application and you're sharing dependencies, because you can have the way Node or Ruby or Python or any dynamically typed interpreted language, or if you want to get real complex, anything that uses DL open to extend the symbol table of a binary can have this problem too. Like if you have a shared object, like a .so file, and you have a compiled C++ program or Rust program, or .NET too, which has its own model of doing this. That's where this can burn you, because ultimately zip files are not a file system. This has been playing like in my career. There have been echoes of this for the last like 8 years, and what's basically happening is Lambda needs to create a file system from your zip files. So any duplicate names are going to get overwritten, like literally directory names. So if you have dependency A, like say you have 2 versions of Puppeteer, one in your zip file, one in your layer, only one of those can exist at a time in the same place on the file system, and you end up in this situation where it clobbers. One or the other gets clobbered in a way you don't expect. For Puppeteer, it's probably fine. It's probably just a binary you can execute. You can give it certain args. It's probably very stable. It has a very stable API, and you're able to, it doesn't matter which one gets copied in. The problem the problem you run into is when you have multiple, especially node dependency. So say you have a function zip and you have 2 layers. And they're all like the dependency is A, right? Like just some A. I need better examples, but this is like a 1.0, a 2.0, and a 3.0. So they're breaking changes, right? They have different APIs, and your function depends on 1.0, but you have this layer. That layer, those bytes are gonna get copied down, and they're gonna squash each other, because there can only be one that's gonna be imported at a time. So you're gonna end up getting 3.0, which can make your function panic, and that's the problem. And you don't know this until runtime. Which is just like, the thing is, the TLDRs at Lambda layers are not package managers. So they have no idea of semantic versioning. All these problems we've solved with NPM, PNPM, PyPy, MyPy, or not MyPy, PyPy, or Poetry, any of these things. Sorry, PyPy is the package website. I think it's like a Poetry is a package manager, and I forget the other one for Python. Or like, Ruby gems, all these lock files and dependency management we solved, that's not solved with Lambda layers. So you just have to you're going to shoot yourself in the foot in the way that you used to if you were manually copying dependencies in. So I would say, I said where you should use Lambda layers. I call it FFmpeg or sharp. I would say Puppeteer is fine in here. It's like a big binary. It runs on its own. It doesn't change super fast. So you're good. You don't have to I wouldn't say you have to worry about it. So that's my answer. I'd say that's fine for a Lambda layer, especially if you have like 100 functions that use it. If you don't, you can just stick it in the zip file. Like there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Hope that helps. Okay, so we did SSH, and then okay, this is the problem. My path is not the same for my SSH client as it is for my user. So you can see I've got like var services here, and I think which Docker is in var services, right? No, it's user local bin. So there's no user local here in the path. Hey, Regalius, good to see you. Welcome back to the stream. So I need to make sure, I need to figure out, so this is why Docker context doesn't work, because effectively what it does is it does SSH local Docker, and then it doesn't do PS, but it does like standard IO. So it literally just becomes an interpreting shell. Like you can just send commands to it. It's kind of neat. So why is my SSH user have a different env than my... Oh, it's the default shell? I forget this. This is like my long layoff since being any kind of like Linux sysadmin is showing. My shell is still bin sh, that's fine. But my path is different. Okay, so we have to fix this. First should we just get this building first? Yeah, okay. cd curler counter, git pull. Oh, I didn't commit this. Did I not commit this? Oh, okay. Okay. GD. What did I make? What change did I make here? Oh, All right, so we had a few problems last week with the streaming coding, so just give me a shout if it's lagging. Let me know, because it seems the bitrate seems fine everywhere else right now. Seems fine. Okay, cool. And let me know about the music too, and the microphone, all that stuff. I haven't tweaked any of this, but for whatever reason, it gets goofy. Okay. Check out main, git pull, git merge main. Okay. Docker build. Schizophrenic web developer. Yeah, I'm a staff engineer. At Datadog, I work for the serverless team. So anything that's not VMs or K8s, we own. So that's like all over. You know, we do some Vercel stuff. We do a lot of Lambda stuff. We do a lot of like Google Cloud Run and Azure App Services stuff. So we're building libraries and integrations to get telemetry data out of these systems and into Datadog. That includes a bunch of backend work. At Datadog, teams own their own product, kind of end to end. So we've got 3 now backend services that convert data from like a serverless specific format or just like one, company's format. Hey, Rask. And we convert that stuff into like a Datadog format. All right, we'll get this building. This took forever. Let me know if this starts lagging. So far, everything's green. But I think once we start using a bunch of CPU for cross compilation, it gets a little goofy. Now I have to figure out the default shell. All right. Twitch guideline says live no delay. That's cool. Okay. Oh yeah, Rask, we have a really cool office in Lisbon. Bunch of really cool people work there. You should definitely apply. Should we look? That's Gordon. He's awesome. You should hang with him. Biscuit, welcome to chat. Here to be utterly bamboozled by Docker. Yo, you and me both. You and me both. Portugal, huh? Lisbon, 37 roles. We hire a lot in Lisbon. There's a bunch of cool stuff here. Regalius, my group is like 25 people. So I'm responsible for the group. I mean, they don't report to me. I don't have any reports, but I'm responsible for like the technical side. Node.js Lisbon. This would be a cool team. I know this team. The manager's awesome. This would be fun. If you're interested in writing Node, but libraries, it would all be open source work too. Oh, this is a great team. HPTS are really, really sharp people. Yeah, this is a super cool team. Yeah, I would. Here, I'll plug this in chat for you, Rask. But give it a rip. Okay. Do. Why is my bum? No, I don't want to pass an environment variable to a server. I want to set the yeah, here we go. SSH config. Is AI, can AI help me with this? Probably. Why not using ChatGPT instead of Stack Overflow? I've used all of them. I'll use whatever's going to make sense. All I need to do is set the environment variables, or set the env, or specifically, oh yeah, here. Set path for SSH user. How do I do that? Regalias, yeah, we have an acceptable use policy for LLMs, and we have we get to use Copilot and stuff depending on a few things, but yeah. SSH environment. Okay, this is the file I want. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, why is this not working? Okay, is this what we have to do? SSHD. Boom. Should be no passwords here. Q is good. Oh, use PAM, yes. Okay. Oh, this is a big file. X forwarding. We will not be forwarding X window manager. Chroot directory. Can I set path for SSH environment? Bum 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 bum. Okay. This looks permit user environment. Is this real? Yeah, I'd say via like one thing. So I think if you're new to the chat, or if you've kind of been seeing it for a little bit, I've been writing a lot of Rust, but I just started learning Rust. Like last couple of months, I think you all have watched me struggle with it. But I've written Go for a long time, and a couple of times it's been very helpful to write what I want in Go, and then tell ChatGPT or Perplexity or Copilot to like convert this. That seems to work. Because the hard part is like learning, the standard environment and learning all the different, like the actual syntax. But languages, they all have fundamental common data structures and fundamentally common interfaces. Even like a buffer reader, for example, is going to have like a stateful read, and then it's going to have like a rewind. So you can kind of do that. You want to move from the Netherlands to Spain or Portugal? No, you guys can talk about whatever. I don't care. Just for the weather, web developer, is that why? Or do you don't like the bicycling culture? Oh, thanks for the follow, Napcat. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for hanging out. Bum, bum, bum. Set variables you want. Permit user environment. For the weather and the low cost, for sure. For sure. Whoa, Tyler Hillary. One thing I hope you cover with serverless containers is the difference between Fargate orchestrated by ECS or EKS. 1 second. What's up? Oh, you want my medicine ball? Or you want my exercise ball? All right, chat. Here you go. All right, we're going back to the chair. Back to the chair. We have an office in Amsterdam too. It's a gorgeous office in Amsterdam, like stunning. It faces the canal. It's like got 5 or 6 floors. It's really cool. Tyler, we can talk about that when we get there. Yeah, man got demoted midstream. My wife is 8 months pregnant. I have... What if she wants this chair, she takes the chair. You know what I mean? Welcome back, that guy Doru. Good to see you again. Tyler, do you want the TLDR and the difference? You're going to pay more for EKS. ECS, you don't have to pay for the control plane. There's a billion little other differences that may make it worthwhile and may cause you to have to go one way or the other. But with EKS, you pay for the control plane compute, and ECS you don't. That's the biggest thing. I think there's like I said, a billion other things that I don't personally know. We can find out and learn together. But that's my biggest understanding is that like if you're gonna be in Fargate, you may as well use ECS or just launch the task as like a Fargate task because like it's Fargate/ECS, right? I'm learned about ECS because I learned about ECS because we use AWS at work and yet to use K8s. They're all kind of fine, I would say. We use K8s every day at Datadog. All my services are in K8s. We have pretty good like dev environments for our own dev clusters or dev nodes, but everything's kind of moving to nodeless anyway, that's just like more serverless, right? Like why are you isolating by node when we can have a better bin packing by going nodeless? Why do you use K8s VCS? Because Datadog is multi-cloud, so Datadog runs in every cloud provider, so ECS is cheaper. But it doesn't matter because we have our own control plane configurations and we want to keep those consistent across every cloud. Don't do things the way we do things because you just don't have the same problems. Like I wouldn't worry about that. I do think Datadog is probably one of the biggest actually multi-cloud customers, probably. That'd be my guess. But yeah, that's all public. You can learn more. You can learn more via DNS if you want. Oh, we just set, okay. SSH invite. So just literally in the env file, we can copy. So we should be able to set path. Can we set path? Oh, this is not right. We already have been here. This is for one. Okay, we just can do this. Okay, so we can edit this file. Do I vim? Is this okay? This is new. And then what is my echo path? I can refer people, but I can't refer people unless we've worked together on something. We have a pretty strict policy on how that works. So I can, I'm unfortunately I can't refer anybody that I haven't worked with previously. Otherwise, it just doesn't change anything. Should we copy? Yeah, here we go. Okay. Oh no, I don't have copy paste set up. So we can do this with tmux. Thank you, tmux. Oh, we almost leaked an access key ID. That's funny. Okay. Will this work? C SSH ENV. That's what we want. That looks better. Okay. Oh wait, no, that's not better. Why did that not work? May Jordan, welcome back. Days since last leak sign almost got updated to 0. Yo, I've been wondering what I should put above chat here, and maybe that's just it. Like days since last credential leak. Here, let's. Well, hold on one second. Let me flip it over to dark mode. All right, let's set this up in Excalibur real quick. All right, we're 7 days since the last credentials leak in this channel. So let's go ahead and get this. All right. The day that I blew like 6 or 7 API keys on stream was pretty funny. I was like clearly pretty flustered. Just like back to back to back blue keys. All right. We're chilling now, chap. We're chilling. Do we need export or just set path? Okay. Oh, do I have to restart SSH? I probably do. Which SSH? Is it open SSH? Synology. There we go. Hold on. I keep my root password in 1Password and I don't even know it. That still isn't right. It did not set the path at all. Huh. And we set that PAM authentication value set, right? Etsy, oopsies. Vim/Etsy SSH config. Yeah, use PAM, yes. Is there a config for this? Oh, permit user environment. Here we go. Sudo bang bang. Permit. Nope. User invite. Okay. I'm assuming it's yes. Okay, that looks good. No creds. No creds. No creds, baby. Oh, imagine blowing an SSH key on stream. That would be... That would be a whole thing. What is this? User bin sino system CTL. Restart sshg.service. Failed to restart. That's not right. That looked right. That seemed to work. It said yes. Bum, bum, bum. Gonna be doing this a lot, chat. Okay. It's not working at all. Why is it not working? So we're trying to get my SSH shell with my login name to load, to set the path variable to the correct, to add the right binaries. Or I guess, you know what we could do? We could symlink and user sbin. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, so we're trying to set the correct directory for binaries so we can execute the Docker command. Use the shell profile. Philo Farnsworth, welcome to chat. Thanks for saying hi. Yeah, why doesn't it use my shell profile? Because when I actually SSH as me, it uses my shell and my profile. But it doesn't do that when I run a command via SSH. Is there there's got to be a config for this, right? No. Permit empty passwords. No. Ignore notice. No. I thought it would be that permit user environment. That looked... SSH use shell profile. How do I do this by default? Oh, here we go. I don't want to do that though. I want it to run by default because Docker is doing this crazy thing. So for Docker context, it's just going to run like Docker, which that binary is set in my. Oh wait, hold on. Using bash should lead to result using bash rc. Oh, do we need to just use bash? Which overrides? I don't think I have any of these. Nope, don't have any. Yeah, why isn't it using my shell profile if I can tell it? Use sudo try without t. Do you mean sudo tty? With dash t? Boom, boom. Like that. Oh, that did work. Oh no, that didn't work. It did. So it loaded the terminal, but it didn't have any of my my path variables set correctly. Hey, Xmorse, have I tried Fly.io? I haven't on stream. I have a friend who works there. Super sharp friend I used to know in Minnesota. So I want to. They use Firecracker. Docker context SSH set command. Can I change that? I don't know if Docker's going to change that command. So I don't know if the -t would even help. Because what Docker is doing is running like SSH Docker, not PS, but it's doing the STIO thing. So it allows me to just like push commands straight to that stream, and then it will issue them as Docker commands. So this doesn't work, but... Profile not loaded when using SSH. Kochi, welcome back. Good to see you, man. You can see our counter here. 7 days since we last blew credentials on the stream. Oh, I wonder if we can do this, though. It's not even setting path. That's the weird thing. So we set... in SSH environment, that's not even working, right? So this looks like that should work. So we should be able to, now we should be able to do like echo foo, right? Yeah, so if it was actually loading that environment file, that would show bar, right? Because now we can, you know... Right? Chat, we're with me? So that... It's clearly not loading that .env file. Do you have to export it here? We did that a little bit, didn't we? Yeah, it's not working either. And it's not set for the shell either. Yeah, so okay. SSH.environment file not loading. Boom, boom, boom. I know this. It doesn't work. Login shell, non-interactive shell. Hey, Marcos, welcome back. We're trying to fix this thing. I try it with env. We've done that, though. Like, here, look. Foo's not there, so it's not sourcing that that environment file, and it is here, and we did configure etc ssh shd config to permit user environment, so that should work. We made 2 changes here: permit user environment, and there's one other one we used. I forget, but it's just open SSH, so we should be able to. It should work. Back to Stack Overflow. So this is what I thought it would be. var1 equal value1, and I should be able to just set path. Yeah, I was thinking about that, Marcos. That's the fast way. Should we just do this? Which Docker? LNS user local bin Docker user bin. Is that it? Yeah. User bin. Or, oh, it does /bin? Sudo bang bang. Watch me just like create an infinite loop and it breaks the box and I have to back it all up. We did it, chat. Thanks, Marcos. That's the easier way. Okay. Docker context. Where were we? Right. Close all the tabs. No credential leaks. Let's go, chat. We can talk about that later. What are we doing? Oh yeah. Okay. Just .github. Here. Boom. Okay, Docker context use AJNAS. Thanks, Marcos. All right, now we're building x86 on the NAS, so it shouldn't chug the stream quality. And it should go a little faster. Oh, we are dangerously close to updating that creds leak to 8. The counter to 8. Chad, you have to hold me accountable though, you know? Oh, Ryan Jackson said love the stream. Hey, hello YouTube chat. Boom, boom. Build on cloud. Hey. What's going on YouTube? We got some Docker containers going. We're going to talk about some serverless stuff. Okay, this is sweet. Now this is building. All right, so there is a lot of FUD around container-based serverless stuff. And I replied to this comment. If you're new to the stream, this is new to you. Many of you have already seen this. Container-based Lambda functions are now a lot faster than they used to be. They're now faster than zip-based Lambda functions at a certain size. So for about 50 megabytes and up, container-based Lambda functions tend to be bigger. If your application and all its dependencies are more than 50 megabytes. So you can see 0, like hello world, it's not faster. At 50, you know, you see the container cold start time, lower is better, tends to be faster all the way up. So there's like a way to do this. And if you want to start building applications, yeah, Dave, I'll share the link right away. It's just on my blog. Do I have a blog? Oh, I'm so bad at this. I'm bad at Twitch. Is it Stream Elements? How do I do exclamation mark whatever? Oh, Stream Parrot, no. I think it is Stream Elements. 1 second. Let me see if I can fix... No, Fossabot. Hey, we did it. All right. I'll post this link right away, but I need to add this. Boom, 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 boom. Commands. Create command. Blog. We don't even need that. Just... Okay. Boom. Perfect. Okay. Now I won't screw this up again. All right, YouTube chat, I'll drop the link. Containers in Lambda. If you are brand new to Lambda, the very first thing you're probably going to create is a zip-based Lambda function. That's great. If you can, in an ideal world, Brian LaRue, this is for you. In an ideal world, your Lambda functions will be 100 kilobytes to 200 kilobytes. They'll be tiny. They'll do a little bit of work and nothing more. That's in the perfect world. But we live in this messy, organic, crummy kind of environment where it's not perfect, and I've got shit to do. So a lot of times when I'm using Lambda, I have an application I already have. I have an application that already exists, and maybe I just spent the last 6 months getting this crazy Java Spring Boot app into a Docker container, running on a Docker container. And in that case, I don't want to figure out how to make it build into a zip file if I want to run it on Lambda. I just want to get it onto Lambda. The Lambda team realized this, it was important, and started supporting container-based Lambda functions a really long time ago. I think it was like 2018, but they sucked. It was pretty slow, and it took them a little bit. They're not clear on timelines, but I think what happened was they realized that the biggest roadblock to adoption was going to be the performance for containers. Now, last year, they came out with this talk about why container-based functions can now start so much faster, but I went through and I benchmarked it, and it's true, they start way faster. In fact, they start almost as fast as a zip-based Lambda function, or faster depending on the size of your function. These numbers, if they seem high, these are all round-trip request time. So I'm making a request from another machine to this machine, and they get heavier and heavier and heavier. So yeah, like 250 megabytes is going to take longer to start than Hello World. So don't be shocked by these numbers. Don't be put off by these numbers. This is just what they look like, when you're putting hundreds of megabytes of dependencies in. And for large applications, this can be fine. If you have, a bunch of users that come by and use it once a year, this is great. So, sorry. Oh, lost YouTube chat. I'm back. Sorry, YouTube. So Python is very similar. In fact, Python is scales much more flat, more linear than zip-based functions do. And that's pretty impressive. They did a great job on this. But how do they do this? The answer to how first off, let's talk about should you do this. Here's my take, and then we'll talk about how they did it. Should you use containers on Lambda or just generally? I think the answer is yes. I think broadly, containers have won the packaging war. They've won and settled the debate on how we should ship our applications. It's true that containers are objectively bad formats for packaging applications, because the idea that every time I say I have 5 applications, the idea that I should be picking out and maintaining or owning a Linux kernel for each one seems kind of silly, right? I don't really care. In an ideal world, I just ship my application code and maybe some dependencies, and that's it. However, when we're talking about dynamically linked languages, something using glibc, Rust, Java, or I think Java ships with its own version. Go also ships with its own version of libc, so it's kind of self-contained. But not like Rust or C++ where you're going to make a bunch of calls out to glibc. Then you're going to have these dependencies anyway. So that part I think is true, that it's an objectively bad format because you're shipping more than you need to, but it is the standard. And there's a point to be made that any developer you're going to hire probably knows something about Docker. Hopefully they know more than me. The other thing I think is that it makes it really easy to cross-build. So we're doing that now. We're building on the Synology machine. We're compiling our application for x86 on an x86 box instead of using an emulator, which is what I had to use on my M1 Mac. But at the same time, more and more people using Lambda and actually just using AWS in general are targeting ARM architectures. They're targeting ARM chips. So you're going to probably, at any point in your career, now more than ever, you're going to likely introduce or interact with a cross-build system. And that's where I think a container function just excels, because you get these you get these very contained builds that are very easy to reproduce and very easy to create hermetically sealed and reproducible or identifiable artifacts, which is great. And there's just a bunch of other advantages. You get larger functions if you need that. Custom runtimes are easier. It's just easier to drop something in that you already have. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is if you already have it, you might as well use it. Now, the downsides. it's true that you manage and own more in Lambda when you bring a container image. One of the benefits of Lambda is that if you're deploying a Node.js function as a zip-based function, they will patch it when there are bugs, when there are problems. Like they will patch the runtime, and your application will just get deployed on a new version, and you won't even have to know about it. Like you'll just get, one of those sandboxes will spin down, a new one will spin up. You get a request, and it's running updated software, and you don't have to do anything about it. That's great, especially if you're not going to touch functions for years. That's really good. Eventually you will, because runtimes go end of life, and all those kind of things have to happen. But I do think that the cost of like rebuilding a container image isn't that high. We just use Dependabot, right? So Dependabot will just like tell us like there's a new image available, and you just click merge, and it'll, you'll use latest, or you can pin it, and then they come free. I also use the manage runtimes anyway, so I get the same updates that go out to Node or Python, same ones I get. I can get them here, and then I just have to do my own deployment. You pay money for an iteration. That's another downside. You don't have to pay money for the iteration. However, and this is a big gotcha, the docs say that an iteration is always billed. Initialization code is always billable, but they just don't charge you. So it doesn't show up on your, like if you look at the build duration on your Lambda functions for zip-based functions that are using a managed runtime, you won't see that time counted in the build duration. One day they will switch it. Mark my words. And then, yeah, it takes a while to deploy. That's totally true. And also the very first cold start is worse when a brand new container image comes out. And we should talk about why. So the way this worked is that in order to make container-based functions start so fast, they had to like realize that a bunch of people were all using each other's code. We're all using the same code. So they were like, well, how can we share code between customers without leaking code, right? Without making it available for you to access somebody else's code that you don't already have. That's a risky thing to do. I talked about this on YouTube. We can plug YouTube. I did this. This is an older video now. Oh, Prime is playing Elden Ring. Okay. This is I did this video a while ago in January. But I'll plug it in chat if you want to see the more polished version of this rant. But effectively what they did was when you create a new function, they create a file system, and they did some work on ext4 to make that work. So they take these these container layers, not Lambda layers, these tarballs, which Docker uses. Each of these, you can see some of these are cached. Oh, we're done building. Amazing. So each of these are layers that are getting applied, and then that ends with a file system that works. Then it chunks that file system up. They encrypt each of those chunks, and then they cache those chunks and share them across all customers. So if your chunk and my chunk are the same, they're deduplicated, which is really, really cool. So I plugged this post. I plugged the video. You can learn more. The way this works is wild. They use something you would never normally do, but content addressed encryption, where you hash the data. You then create a key from that hash, and then you encrypt the data with that key. And then if your chunk and my chunk are the same, you will already have this key. And that's the magic. That's the sauce. That's the magic. I finally reread this paper a few weeks ago, and they also talk in depth about Hyper and the request API for Rust, and it's great. So they were talking about tiered caching. Oh, wait, hold on. That's pretty dope. Yeah, Major Warden, it's sweet. It's really impressive. And look at this cache hit rate. Basically, as a result, the L1 cache are bytes that are not only in their system, they're already on the worker that will run your Lambda function. So there's a server behind Serverless. Don't tell anyone I told you that. That's top secret information, and they'll fire me if they know. But there's a server there, I promise. On that server, there is somewhere between a 50 and a 95% chance that 512 kilobyte chunk you need is already on the machine. I imagine if you get your container images as close to standard images, you have shorter cold start time, not necessarily runtime. But yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. The more common, and that's why I prefer to stick with the Lambda-based images, because odds are those bytes are going to be there. Yeah. And then the L2 cache is like in the availability zone, so in the data center, in the physical space, they've got like a big Redis cache running there and implements the Redis API. And then L3 is S3. But they talk here about Hyper, and they talk about so they chose Rust. Love Rust. Rust, by the way. We should talk about this at some point. One stumbling block with Rust is the brittle optimization, especially auto-vectorization of hotspots. Unsurprisingly, we found that the parity calculations we use for erasure coding are 5x faster, performed 65 bytes at a time with AVX 512, or 32 bytes at a time. But the Rust native loop was emitting byte at a time code. And they were able to fix this here. Wait, did I miss it? Oh, yeah, listening to. So here's the implementation they used. And they had to just say inline never. Because when it was being inlined, it was emitting, like, it was looking at each of these in an actual, like, chunk at a time. Or but one byte at a time instead of actually vectorizing this all the way out. So that's part of, like, the... Oh, man, we should talk about instruction vectorization. But I digress. Inline never. Typically, you don't need to do this, but here you do. And yeah, when they looked at the assembly, and that's how they figured this out. And they're spending 50% of the time on this instruction here. Okay, and this is cool. So, gets inputs. They had implemented this on top of HTTP as a wire protocol with the intent of replacing it with a binary protocol later. In production, we found the override of HTTP, which is using Hyper and Request, which are two libraries we're using right now in Rust, are so low that we haven't been motivated to find to replace the protocol. Pretty awesome. Like, when it's so good that you were going to use a binary protocol and just straight HTTP implemented well is fast enough. Pretty awesome. Okay. That's my rant on containers. One day I'm going to cut these up and put it on my YouTube. I think that may be more valuable than just posting the whole stream. But then I'd have to like record it to my disk and all this other stuff. Let's find some editor. It's a lot of work. Okay, we need to log in. Oh yeah, okay, chat. We set up AWS correctly. Josh, I just came in. You said that's my rant on containers. Can you start over? It's all in the chat. You got it. Containers and serverless is easy. Oh, I didn't finish my rant though. Why containers? You can move them. If you have to move them, you can move them. It's actually super easy. And yes, it's possible to heavily build and like construct your application such that it's deeply tied into all these services. AWS already recommends that you separate the part from your code that handles the event model, like the incoming structured schema, the JSON schema for an event, from your business logic. That's smart to do anyway. But with a container-based function, you can just run like a Hono app or an Express.js app, and then run the Lambda web adapter on top, and then you can bring it anywhere. And that's what I'm doing right now. Basically, all of my like production work that I'm doing in Lambda, we do in a container, and we put the Lambda web adapter on top. And then if it gets too expensive, we just move it to Fargate or K8s or whatever, and then you can. You just the Lambda web adapter does nothing because it's just a file in the /op directory. You can literally run the same container in like Fargate and in Lambda at the same time. It can be the exact same container, the exact same code, and they both run. And you can send like web requests to it. So for an API, that's great because the cost of an API in Lambda tends to be a lot higher because Lambda tends to, you can run one request at a time in a Lambda sandbox. But you can do many more than that in any other server. So when you have many requests and it's coming, you just scale it up in like Fargate or ECS. Yeah, we can. All right, I'll figure out how to download this and cut it up and upload it into YouTube. I don't on OBS and on Twitch. I don't typically record to my disk. I tried that once. I tried recording a rant about SQS. And it didn't go super well, so I had to actually refilm it all entirely because I didn't make the points I wanted to make. The way Theo works and Prime works are really impressive, but I'm not that good. Anyway, Reddit accounts. I finally, AWS forum maybe come back and post stuff because I was interested in fixing some of this. All right, we got to log in to the AWS account. One sec, we're going to go fuzzy mode. Boom. All right, SSO time. Okay, now I shouldn't have to go fuzzy. SSO personal. This should all work. Oh, hell yeah, it worked, chat. All right, no one leaked my MFA code. So last week, or 2 weeks ago now, was it? We set up 2 accounts. I've got my main prod account, and I've got my backup account. And the backup account is where the Synology NAS is backing up data to. I do still owe them a blog post, but I'm having a little bit of trouble with something, and I reached out for them for help. But I did do a whole stream, and they were kind enough to send me this stuff. And it is sick. It is working really, really well. I've got all of my video and all of my raw cuts from both the stream, but also my terabyte or so of like skydiving and base jumping footage is all backed up onto the disk station. And then it is set up to back up to Glacier, but I need to fix this because something went wrong here. And I'm waiting to hear more. I don't know. There's not really enough in the logs. It just says Glacier backup was canceled, and they basically never stop. They just run forever. So I'll try to fix this, but then I'll write a blog post about it because I think it's pretty sick. And then we can talk about erasure coding on the blog. But let's go here first. Oh, actually, yeah. Administrator. Okay, perfect. Boom. Multiple AWS accounts. Every time you create an AWS account, you get a new year on the free tier. And if you're using IAM Identity Center, you can create a new AWS account with one click. So you might as well get your free AWS. It's free. ECR. I need these login commands. Curler counter. Boom. View push commands. Okay. Export AWS profile. Personal. We're logged in. We built AWS Kojak. Welcome back. They hate this one weird trick. They do. It's true. All right. Push this bad boy up. Blast it to the cloud. Then we're going to hop over to SSH. Pull it back down. Philo, no, I don't memorize my what is dkr.ecr.us East 1. Come on, man. I'm not going to memorize that. And like, you wonder, okay, this cracks me up. Do you wonder how long the AWS PMs were staring at ECR's metrics and being like, no one's using this. Why is nobody using this? And then some engineer was like, well, it's impossible to log into. And they're like, well, we have to, the only way we can expose this is with this obtuse and stupid login path. That has to happen because God forbid they gave you like a Heroku style memorable name, like just generate a URL for you, but make it English and not your AWS account ID dot some random subdomain dot region dot amazonaws.com, because of course they did. And then some engineer was like, maybe we just put these commands on each repository and just let people copy and paste. And then metrics just flew through the roof, just up and to the right. That's my assumption. I'm sure it was super, super bad until that happened. All right, we pushed. Now we have to pull. I need to set up ZSH here. Oh, no. That should be Docker pulled that. Wait. Oh, I'm not logged in here. Right. Login succeeded. Boom. We're flying now. Is that up to date? That's weird. That shouldn't. That doesn't make sense to me. Oh no, chat. Where's my command? Docker run. No, did I lose it really? Oh yeah, that rolled off. Oh no. Okay, it's Docker start. We need the here we go. Hold on. ls.env. Yeah, okay, it's still here. .env file still there. Just before so we don't have to update this, there's no credentials in the .env file. There are URLs to serverless functions in Vercel and AWS Lambda that I just didn't want to leak because, well, I mean, someone could hit it and run up a bill, but I'm not as worried about that. I just don't want, I didn't want someone to like hit them and then me have to like wait and collect more data, because once you hit them, it's no longer a cold start. Oh God, I forgot how to. No, I don't want to run IT. Yeah, here's this. Here we go. We got it, chat. Uh-oh, I misspelled attempts. Okay, well that's working. Sweet. Chat, that was so easy. Okay, let's fix this. This is good. Git push. Thanks, Marcos, for fixing my build. Attempts. Do we want a random? No. We should. Let's move this out. So I don't think we want to pick a different attempt every time. We want to pick a different attempt for each run, but for each of the individual functions, we don't. Now this should complain because I've moved a. Is it not complaining? Okay, never mind. I thought it would. I assumed the I assumed the borrow checker was going to complain because I'm going to move a variable into a scope. Oh, never mind. Wait, why doesn't that complain? Rust developers, get at me. So we have Rex here. Oh, we don't move it in. That's why. So, because yeah, when you any variable you move in here, you have to clone. Or yeah, like clone here, you know, or move it like we do. Okay, that's cool. Let's try this. Docker build. Is it going to build on Docker? Yeah, building on AJ NAS. Let's go. Sweet. Flying now, chat. Okay, so this is great. So we made a small change to the benchmark software so we don't randomly make different attempts. But the whole point of this is because there were a ton of proactive initialized Lambda functions the last time we looked at this. And I want to see if I can outfox Lambda, basically. Wait, hold on. Which one of you convinced me to click on ground station, the satellite, the satellite thing yesterday or last week? That was so funny. We were talking about burning credits. Is it here? No, it's all metrics. So we shouldn't have any data for this week. That's normal. But we should have data from previous weeks. Yeah, okay. So what is so interesting to me that I want to figure out is these gaps. So, okay, the dots are a little goofy. Can it connect my dots? Please connect the dots. Boom, boom. I don't want average. You never want average. The fact that this is like the default drives me insane. I guess it won't. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so chat, you should be able to see this. Let me know if you can't. There are a bunch of missing points, and they're not missing. The fact is, these aren't cold starts. These Lambda functions, these Lambda invocations, are not cold starts. They were pre-warmed for days. They knew that I was making these requests every 15 minutes or so, and it was pre-warming a sandbox for me. But it was mostly just doing that for AWS. Now, we had a bunch of examples of this happening for, like, randomly for, like, Vercel or for Hono. Vercel is different because they're already pre-warming functions. They say they are now, and that's partly why they pre-warm one sandbox for you when you have a team tier. But I wanted to see why this is happening in such great volume for AWS. So my thought was, like, can we fake them out? Can we randomly pick a number between 3 and 8 and make a bunch of requests, and then I presume that they have some sort of, it's like an ML algorithm that's running. So that they're able to, they're like checking this value based on some payload, some pipeline that's saying, oh, AJ is invoking this like every week, or like the whole week, every 15 minutes. I don't think they watch the stream, chat. Okay, that worked. Sweet. Docker tang, Docker push. Okay. And now, oh no, I forgot. Did I not do this right? Ah. Docker PS. Regalius, we use Terraform for infrastructure as code. There we go. Docker pull. Okay. All right. How do we do it? Oh, right. You're right, Marcos. It shouldn't matter. It's already on there. Marcos, how do I run this in the background? What's the? It's not. I know for Bash I can like ampersand it, but what's the Docker command to do it? It's like dash D, like that. Sweet. There we go. Oh nope, that is. Oh right. No, and I have to kill it again. That's fine. That looked great though. Attempt 6. Look, no cold start for AWS. So I shouldn't even have to pull? You're saying this is already here? That's so cool. Why are the parameters ordered? That makes less sense to me. Oh, I guess it could. Okay. Sweet. Come on, return. Cool. And it's stashed. Well, whatever. The tail. Sweet. Okay. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. We've not leaked any credentials. Let's go. Let's go. It should go before the image name. All right. IT should. Yo, my bad. We got a back chat. Medicine ball or the exercise ball's back. Hell yeah. No, my wife's done. My wife's done with her her stretches and exercises, so I got it back. We can bounce again. I'm gonna have to adjust the height of the. Oh, here. Hold on. There we go. We'll frame it a little better. That way I don't bounce out of frame. Yoga time. No way, dude. I'm doing the. I see why Primogen sits on one of these things. My lower back has never felt better. I sat on it for 8 hours on Thursday, and I woke up without a sore back. It was awesome. Putting the serverless community on my back. Come on. Sweet. Okay, this is flying. All right, I want to show people just how easy it is to, yeah. It's still running, okay. Shouldn't be any new logs, okay. I want to show people how easy it is to build a container image in Lambda and use the exact same container image in Lambda as you use for like Fargate or App Runner. Does that sound good? People interested in that? We can do that. We should do, I never do that. Oopsies. I never tweeted the stream. Let's build a All right. We posted it. And now that no one knows that you can like tweets, I'm going to like my own tweet. Come on, load. Boom. That's Melky does that all the time, doesn't he? Where's that guy? He was texting me last night. He's got quite the project cooking, that Melky fella. Oh, we got a few likes here. Yo, let's go. Thanks for everyone liking this. Let's go. Okay, so this is running. We're going to get more data on this soon. This, we're waiting to hear back from the folks at Synology because I have to fix something. I broke something, and I don't know why. I don't know what I broke for Glacier. I got the bill, though. Should we talk about the bill, chat? All right, let's real quick. Well, no, okay. Let's go back. Okay, let's do the container image thing. Let's do the container image thing. So, boom, boom. Okay. So we fixed this. Can I do a strike through? I don't know if I can. Done. Oh man, there's so much to talk about today. Marcos, thanks again for the PR. We'll call that done. Okay, let's do this. Serverless containers. They're great. They're amazing. Don't be scared. Let's get it started. So, all right, we don't need these projects. /ls. I thought I built one of these already. Bum, 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 bum. Lambda CPU, Lambda web adapter, did I do container? Where did this go? Oh yeah, we did one of these here. But let's build this from scratch because this is kind of cool. I'm just gonna keep this up as a reference. CD stream scratch. No, what should we call this project? This should just be simple node container. No, makedir. Okay. We'll do a node function. Oh, actually. Docker, yeah. This is just, we should stop using serverless framework on stream too, chat, because it's kind of sad. Okay. So what does this give us? Serverless function, a serverless container. Sorry. It gives us a serverless template file. ECR images, app images. I don't love the way it gives it app images, but. We'll just call this like my Express app. Wow, thank you, Copilot. Normally you suck at YAML. Boom, boom. We'll give it a function URL. That's easy. Yeah, Regalius, you're right, but I'm scared of CDK because I really, I don't like that it has to deploy a whole stack just so you can deploy other stacks. Like, yo dog, heard you like stacks. That part is annoying. I have it set up. I've used it. I know I'm gonna have to use it more and more and more. Like I know that's a reality of my life. More of our customers are using it. that's just inevitable. So we should. Oh, I don't want to use it though. Okay, so we're gonna use this for now, but we need to move off it at some point. Okay, so all this is doing, it's setting up an integration with ECR, and it's gonna create a new repository and then a new image, and it's gonna call My Express app. No, Pulumi doesn't. I think Plumi's good too, actually. I'm really nervous about pulling more venture-backed SaaS products into my cloud infrastructure, if I'm gonna be totally honest with you. The Terraform thing didn't go great. Serverless framework thing didn't go great. Pulumi's always been great. They've been around forever too. Don't get me wrong. It just makes me nervous. That's all. That's all, man. CDK, at least you know where it's coming from. You know where it's coming from. Open tofu, maybe. I don't know. Okay. But the real magic is here, and you don't have to worry about this. Oh, ICMP8, welcome to chat. CD abstractions are so nice, can be so lazy. Yeah, but you have to know them. I hate that part. The Drunken Tabard in the same boat with Terraform and Serverless. Sad times. Yeah, man, it's just a bummer. Like, I don't know if folks don't know this. I was a principal engineer at Serverless at Serverless, the company, like the Serverless framework company for nearly 3 years. So it hurts. Alex Debris was my manager there. Literally legendary DynamoDB Alex Debris. Before he wrote his book, he was my boss. Some say he quit because I started working there, but I put a lot of work into that company, and I know the CEO has too, and they deserve a good outcome. They do, but it's just like tough to watch because maybe I think that would have worked a few years ago, but you know, things move on and move forward. It's just hard. I don't really see a good path forward there. And yeah, ICP8, I don't know any of the abstractions. That's what frustrates me. Where with CloudFormation, I more or less have it memorized, which is dumb because you shouldn't do that. But I've just done it for so long that it's easy for me to switch between the two. Yeah, I think so too. I think V4, I mean, we can just look at the downloads, but V4 is not going great. Hey, Benjamin, welcome to chat. Are you going to Dash next week? I hope you are. I won't be there, but you should meet James Eastman's going to be there. He's starting at Datadog on Monday. So yeah, it's just tough. Also, Benjamin Pyle, welcome to chat. Good, glad you're going to hang out with Benjamin. I'm sad I can't be there, but yeah, okay, awesome. I was going to say, your talk should be coming up. That's going to be great. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, Lambda web adapter. Copy from. We just need this. Okay, and then what else did I do here? There's not that much in here. There's like, it's like an Express app, right? Yeah, just Express. So npm init-y Express. I need whatever the app is, you know. Oh, it does all this sig handling. I don't care about that. Yeah, so just need Express in the port 8080. Don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. So we're moving, what did I remove? I removed the handler. So we're not calling a handler anymore. We're gonna build like a normal HTTP-based application where we get a request and a response. We're using Express to do that. You can use what you want. You can use Hono. You can use Flask. You can write Python. It doesn't really matter. The whole benefit of the Lambda web adapter is that I don't have to care about this handler pattern. I don't have to memorize where the query parameters are in this event. I can just write an HTTP handler. I use Terraform day to day at work. It pains me to think how much Terraform I have to write for the equivalent of application load balance, Fargate service, and CDK. Yes, that's true. I just use the CDK samples, to be honest, and then that is fine. But yeah, it's crazy when you start deploying a zonal, like a multi-zone or even God forbid multi-region service, how much like Terraform templating there is. You're just copying and pasting, copying and pasting, copying and pasting. Oh, the exercise ball makes it easy to make that point. You can just kind of bounce with it as you go. Okay. Boom. Okay, this should work, right? Boom. Chat. We got you want local development. I don't even think you need it for Lambda, but we got it. It's working. Okay, and you don't need the Control C handler, I think, for this. I don't know why I had that in the other one. Okay, so the big magic here is the the Docker file. So we need to copy this. We need to copy package.json, run npm install. What else do we have to do? Is there anything else? Oh, not app.handler. It's what is it? Yeah, it's just node. Oh. Sure, fine. We'll do this. Whoopsies. Okay. Yanking it from my other project, but this is easy enough to do. Okay, so we just put it in var task. That's all that's happening. So docker build -t my node app. What? Oh, doc. The LSP support is so-so, but typos. Yeah, man. Oh, we don't want node 12. We definitely want... Yeah. We don't want node 16 either. Should use a newer version of node. Yeah, that's no... Oh, we don't want that. Bum, bum, bum. Docker library node. Oh. We can probably... Do we even care about Alpine? Let's just use Hydrogen Slim. Or Bookworm. We're using Bookworm elsewhere. That sounds good. From... Oopsies, wrong one. Docker build. Will this work better? It might complain because I'm not logged in. That's fine. So this is pretty simple, right? Oh, okay. AWS profile. How about that? Will you work now? Oh, it's building on the... Marcos, I forgot. It's building on the NAS. Oh, we need to... 1 second. Adjusting my footrest here. There we go. Okay. Docker context use default. Let's try this. Yo, thanks for the follow, Philo Farnsworth. There we go. Bum, 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 bum. Build. Docker. Is it start? Run? I don't care about the entry point. I want to run. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. What do I call this? My node app. Uh-oh. Yeah, Benjamin, thanks for dropping by. Have fun at Dash. Sorry I can't be there. Docker entry point.sh. Why is that happening? No period? Oh, pff, thanks. Nice catch. Okay. Everything's working in Docker. This is all set. We're chilling. Oh, now I know why. Now I know why. Whatever, we'll kill it here. Is this why we need that handler? Will this work then? On SIGINT. Yeah, let's add the handlers for the Node app. See if that works. Boom, boom, boom. Docker build. There we go. Okay, so now we've got the handler so we can kill it. I remember that. The process .on stuff was not for running in Node where we can easily kill the process with the terminal. It's for running in Docker. Okay, this is all working. Let's get it into Lambda. What else do we need? I don't think we need anything else. Literally, it's on. It's 8080. Do we need to set the Lambda web adapter setting? Let's look. So the Lambda web adapter has a health check, readiness check. Oh, it defaults to 8080. Okay, so that should be fine because that's just our normal health check. Should we do a different? Okay, yeah. Here, let's do this. Boom, 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 boom. So let's add a new route handler, and let's add, health check. Let's load. Is it the rec.body? There is. Oh, oopsies. Okay, so we're gonna log the body out, and we're gonna make sure the health check request works. And what is the? How do I send just 200? Okay. Is it okay? No. Oh, send status. Here we go. 200. Not 2000. That wouldn't work. Okay. Docker run. Curl localhost 88 health check. Okay, 200. Okay. We're chilling. Oh, we don't have Git. That's fine. Okay, so I think we just need to YOLO this to serverless. So SLS deploy. Profile equal personal. Uh-oh. What did I do wrong? Oh, whoopsies. Indentation bug. CDK would have caught that. Okay, so we created a Docker image. Took me, well, I copied it from an existing one, so it handled some of the crufty stuff, right? The biggest thing is we copied the Lambda web adapter into this project, and we have a web server, like a teeny web server, which is just Express. You can use Hono, you can use, Sinatra. If you want to do Ruby, you can use Flask or Rails or Django or whatever. That's all fine. You can, any of those are totally adaptable for this use case. Once the stack is created, let's test it out, and then I'll show you how we can run this in like App Runner. And yeah, if you're new, if you just joined the stream, I think there's a couple of folks in YouTube chat that are new. A couple other folks here. I'm AJ Stivenberg. I work on serverless stuff at Datadog full time, and I'm also an AWS hero. So I work on this type of thing for AWS to kind of help help them create better products. And I'm also a big fan of serverless stuff. Big fan of the cloud. So a bunch of stuff we do on the stream is building applications on top of cloud infrastructure and testing out different cloud infrastructures. We do a lot of benchmarks. We did that earlier on. We set up this sweet Synology box that they sent me. It's under my desk. You can't see it, but I'm patting it like it's a good little NAS. And now we're going to creating a container image that can run both in Lambda and something like Fargate simultaneously. Although I suspect App Runner will be the easiest way to get this thing up and running. Maybe we'll do App Runner. App Runner doesn't get enough love, chat. App Runner is such a good service. It's so good. Okay, so this cold start will be bad. I promise this will be not a bad. This will be a long one. Oh, never mind. Now when it instantly throws an error. Oh, chat. What do you want to take bets on what this is? I know exactly what this is. I think I know exactly what went wrong here. I think I know exactly what went wrong here. It's going to be a exec error because I have an x86 Lambda function and I just pushed an ARM container. Yeah, it's an ARM image. That's exactly what's going on. What did I tell this thing? Simple node container? Yeah, simple node container. It's gotta be a launch error, exec format error. Yeah, launch error. Okay, that makes perfect sense. We picked the wrong image. So, I think there's a way to fix this. Like serverless framework, you can, we use ARM for this. You can tell it to set the platform. Serverless framework Docker platform. Yeah. Bam. I think it is just platform. Yeah. Hell yeah. Boom. All right. One little hiccup. It's just at the Express app level, right? Yeah, images in base image. Okay. Okay. All right. Let it build. It's kind of a groovy tune, chat. Okay. And yeah, this is all, like, serverless framework is all backed by CloudFormation. So eventually you escape into CloudFormation a lot because there are resources you want to create or modify that the wrapper doesn't necessarily give you access to. Then this should work, though. Then there's nothing stopping this from working. Okay. Curl. Moment of truth. It'll be a really long cold start, the very first one. Like multiple seconds. There we go. All right, we're working now. So that was really slow, and that's normal. And it's because that literally, as I deployed this, it was creating that image cache. So if we created this function but didn't invoke it, which you can easily do, like you can do like blue-green deployments in Lambda, it's called like a Lambda alias. So you can create a new version but not move to it. By default, it all happens in one big push. You shouldn't do it this way anyway. You should always use a Lambda alias or Lambda version because there's other gotchas that will happen. But because it was like waiting for that snapshot to be created while it was waiting for a request to process, which sucks, but that's just what it is. But that worked. And now, so let's get an actual cold start to show you folks what it actually looks like. Boom. So we'll just copy this function name and we'll go and we'll give it a new environment variable, and that will invalidate the old sandbox and create a new one. So we'll add it. AJ test save. So as this, what it's doing right now is invalidating any of the other old sandboxes that are running. Boom. Okay. And actually, should we just remove it too? Yeah, let's remove it while we're at it. Remove, save. Boom. So now all we did was we killed all the sandboxes, and now we can create a new one. And then we can curl it. And that was a way faster cold start. And it's not just our experience that tells us this. We can compare. Here. So our iteration was 338 milliseconds. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Like for Node, that's not bad. That's in the ballpark. What do we have for max day cold start? Max, yeah, Lambda perf. What's Node 20 doing today? Apple Swift, what? Node 20, 138 milliseconds. So yeah, not like roughly double, but not horrible. And it gets better the longer you let it live, right? So the more dependencies you have, the more likely those are going to be cached, and then your iteration gets a lot better compared to zip-based functions. But we have this container running. It's running in Lambda. It's working fine. Why not do this? We have that exact container. I'm not going to make any changes. The exact container. Container registry, ECR, container image, browse. Image, simple. Serverless simple node container dev, image tag, my express app. Oh, that was a tag I was setting. Oops. I forgot. That's fine. Yeah, I can use ECR role. That's fine. My express service. Do we need a full vCPU? Nacho, so we just deployed a node function, a container-based Lambda function for node. We're going to take the same exact container image, and we're going to run it in App Runner, the exact same one, at the same time, simultaneously. So 8080 is the default port. We don't have any environment variables. We picked a half of vCPU. We can do a full vCPU. That's 1769 megabytes of RAM in Lambda. We don't need a start command since we have the entry point command defined by the container image. Now, this is why I think App Runner is awesome, because it's got all of these, like, you can have this scale by concurrency along with a minimum and a maximum size. So it's super easy to just say, oh, once you have more than 100 concurrent requests, like scale up another container. That gives you that like very serverless kind of experience. So yeah, health check, TCP health check. You could change the port, the timeout, all this other stuff. We haven't changed it. It's just, I guess we did set up a health check, but we can pass it to the /health check route. By default, it just uses / networking, public endpoint. So let's get us a web URL for it. We're not going to turn on X-ray. Bunch of hot garbage. Okay. So we have this container. It's not ARM. That's fine. Everything should just now work. Roll it out. And then it should tell you in a second. It'll give me like the health check. It'll say, okay, we're testing this. Yeah, Atashi, we can look. So this is using a function URL, Nacho. We can talk about that in a second. By default, this is like the tag of the image. So every late, it would be like this / latest. And then it creates a new repository called serverless or simple node container. So it's serverless simple node container. Cold float. Dude, why is ECR so expensive? What are you getting dinked on ECR for, Cold float? What is the pricing? AWS ECR pricing. Oh, it's 10 gig a month for storage. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess it can get, it's like 10 cents. But you get 500 megabytes per month of storage. I don't know. I have so many container images, and I don't think I ever, like, I'll never delete this one. ECS. Oh, ECS is expensive. Yeah, it's expensive because you don't pay for the control plane. Or, I mean, you do pay, but, like, compared to EKS. Like, ECS and EKS are going to be very similarly priced once you factor in the cost of the actual control plane. Unless you're using, like, Fargate tasks, which are then cheaper because there's no, like, the orchestration isn't done by a control plane. So, like, if you have a Kubernetes, if you deploy on Kubernetes, you have your data plane, which are your application nodes, right? That they're running your container images. And then you have a control plane, which is where Kubernetes, the program, runs. And that's where your containers are scheduled, health checks are performed, networking is set up, a billion other things that I don't know about because I'm not a Kubernetes expert. And I'm sure some Kubernetes expert is listening to me talk about this and cringing right now. I am not. I'm barely a Kubernetes operator. But that control plane is distributed because you want it to be highly available. So you would typically deploy EKS, or you typically deploy K8s across like 3 availability zones or maybe more. And in each of those, you're going to have a node, right? You're going to have an instance. And that's why it gets expensive. So just to run it, you've got 3 nodes just for the control plane because you need a quorum. And then you probably have 3 more for the data plane. Boom, boom, boom. This is one of the downsides of containers, though. It's like a hello world deployment. It just takes a while. Boom, 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 boom. We can browse Twitter for a sec. Lots of people live streaming today. Chris, we can raid Chris again. He was super cool. Boom, 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 boom. Nicola, hey, welcome to stream. Thanks for saying hello. Are there ways to do versioning on ECR from serverless and also have a version tag maintained along with the latest tag? Yeah, totally. How does this work? Framework container image tag. Cold Float, thanks for the follow. You can also, so you don't even have to use this. You can give it a, you can build it all manually and then just pass serverless framework like the tag. That's how I'd recommend you do that. I don't even know how to pronounce that name. Thiago, welcome to the stream. Thanks for following. But yeah, I think this is what I would do. I would do my own Docker build like in my CI and then just point my serverless framework towards this image. Yeah, Cloud Run's awesome, Cold Float. I love Cloud Run. I think like AWS should be more like Cloud Run, and I can talk about that too in a second. Yo, thanks for the follows and everything. Yeah, I think AWS can take a big lesson from Cloud Run. Oh, successfully deployed. Yo, where did the... Oh, no, that's... Sorry. Here we go. Activity. Wait, did it not? Oh, yeah, here we go. Look at this. It passed the health check. We're running. This literally... Okay, chat. This took a little bit, but take a look. I have the exact same function, the exact same app code running here. It's the exact same, app. One's running in Lambda. One's running in App Runner. Both of them right here. Boom, boom, right? Doesn't matter. It's the exact same code, same container, same response, different URLs. And that allows me to do some neat things. Like if I want to load balance this with, say, DNS or just a load balancer, I can use like the load balancer config to say, okay, use App Runner, but then if I have to scale up quickly, fail over to Lambda and start invoking my Lambda function. And then I can kind of move it back. Once you get, between a certain number of requests per second, you can go back and forth. So this is how you can get the benefits of Lambda, the cost benefits of Lambda at the small scale. And then when you go to a big scale, you can put it in something like App Runner or Fargate. I didn't use Fargate today because I would have to set up a load balancer. And that cost me, I think it's $20 a month now because it's $19 a month because it's $15 for the load balancer per month. And then for the IPv4, it's $4. So that's like straight up, it would have just cost me $20 to put it up there. App Runner does all that for me, and it's like $5 or something, So we can, this is great. This is how I do this today. This is like what I recommend to customers, and this is kind of how I'm setting it up. I have a Docker file, and then the only thing that makes this work everywhere is that I have this one little thing of the Lambda Web Adapter. It's not the fastest. It's not the highest performance. It is written in Rust, by the way. Regalious, App Runner is more expensive than Fargate, but that's because you don't have to pay for a load balancer. That's the biggest thing. So once you get to the point where you want a full-time load balancer, like your costs on App Runner are greater than the cost of a load balancer plus Fargate, you should switch. So, boom, look at this, routing traffic to application. So, okay, let's draw the flow chart. So on the, low RPS to high RPS, and these are requests per second. Boom, 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 boom. And this is only one dimension. I want to very clearly say on one dimension. This is where you want to be. Lambda. Oh, we should colorize this. Nacho, what do you want me to tweet? Tell me what to tweet and I'll tweet it. I don't know if I like that color. It should be Lambda here. And then you should be somewhere around here. You should phase into App Runner. And then once you have enough costs to justify, once you're greater than $20 a month, then now is where you can go to like Fargate or ECS or EKS. So this is sort of the scheme that I think, this is the way I think about this. Start with Lambda. The same container can run everywhere, no problem. So run it in Lambda. Then when you start having some traffic, yeah, exactly. Once you have NAT gateway and RDS proxy, well, you don't need RDS proxy. Depends what your application does. But you could put your Lambda function in the same VPC as your RDS instance and then set the concurrency limit to the limit of your connection pooling. That's fine. And you don't need NAT gateway. You can use, FCK NAT instead, like just like a little NAT on a T2 micro. But this is basically it. This is the way I think about it. I would say it now. This is actually like need dedicated LB min cost. Okay. So this might be the tweet. This is the way I think about it. Why I like Cloud Run is that Cloud Run will do both of these. That's one thing I love about Cloud Run. And let's talk about that super quick. Cloud Run pricing. So this is something awesome that neither AppRunner nor Fargate does. Is Cloud Run has both on-demand and pay-per-use. So you can... I'm sorry. They have both request pricing and they have always-on pricing. So on the low end, you can just pay this 40 cent per million requests beyond the free tier. Awesome, right? Flat out, pay by request, only pay what you use, all those great serverless things. And then again, you set up how much vCPU seconds and gigabyte seconds for memory you want to use. Great. When you've got a busy app, you can just give it an always-on setting, and then you literally just pay for compute. And yes, it's like a more expensive compute, but you just pay for compute, or it's actually like the price goes lower, but it's always on, even if it doesn't have any requests. But then you pay nothing for the requests. So there's this like very clear progression in Cloud Run that AWS doesn't have. For AWS, this is a service switch. I have to switch, right? I have to go, and that's, like I said, I demonstrated this today. Like there's a way to do this, but in Cloud Run, it's all one service. And yeah, it's a different configuration. So if you're building it all this way, it's pretty easy to switch. Yeah, cold float. I mean, AWS will give you a bunch of credits too to start, and I've got some credits I can share too, but yeah, Cloud Run's a great service. They don't have all of the ancillary stuff though, and that's what gets me. Like AWS has everything I need. I go to AWS, they have every single thing I need. And Cloud Run, or like GCP, less so. Cool. Did this. We kind of did talk about remote dev environments. Maybe we'll save that for next time. We could talk about hash map locality, or we could talk about the Dell thing. Yeah, cloud functions aren't awesome. I think you're kind of always in a cloud. Like I would not recommend cloud functions. I would just say go straight to Cloud Run. You almost have no need for that. Here, should we tweet this? Help me sculpt this tweet. Sculpt like I'm an artist. Was this too much information for a tweet? Chat, fact check me here. It might be. How do I want to say this? I don't know if this is too dense of a tweet. Here. Snow Foundry, welcome to chat. I think these diagrams miss what is the most important for hobbyist developers, have capped upside costs. All of these have capped as well. You have to turn them on, but they have caps. I push back on that notion that like the serverless bill nightmare or whatever, like there's all of these platforms have tools for this. So I don't know. You can, yeah, like you can, but you can all of these can have capped upside costs. So I don't really, I don't know. Both of them have the same failure mode with a capped upside cost, which is like your app goes down. And what do you want to do about it? And in the case we just demonstrated, like it's so easy to deploy the same container to both these services. Like, look at that. Same thing. They're both right here. You can do that. And then you can very easily, like you have a big spike, you can decide if you want to move like the overflow to Lambda, depending on the size of the users that are coming your way, or you could just scale up. In this case, it's App Runner, but you could, scale out horizontally with Fargate or ECS or EC2. If you need it. Should we say EC2? I mean, EC2 you just pay so much more for. Billing alarms are different to me than I don't have to look at this for weeks or months. Oh, you mean like if you're going to let it run forever? That's not what I'm saying though. Like I can put, like we can go right here and I can say, okay, I want to limit the concurrency. Right now it's using unreserved account concurrency. I can say reserve concurrency at 2, and I will never go over 2 concurrent requests ever. Like, problem solved. Now I know exactly what it will cost me forever, and that's nothing. This is in the free tier. Thanks for the follow. Sorry, who was that? Kritzio TKO, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So it's not even a billing alarm. I'm not even talking about a billing alarm. Yeah, I'm literally just I just say, no, don't go past this. And then it's fine, So I think there's it's super true that there is the surprise bill is a huge problem for basically everybody in SaaS, but also and especially compute platforms. AWS has had this forever, and I talked about this on stream. But if you're new, first off, thanks, welcome, appreciate a follow and the hello. If you're new, my very first AWS experience was for a databases class where I spun up like a MySQL server, and I didn't realize I like picked an expensive one, and I got a $300 bill, and for me that was like rent, And I was in college, I was freaking out. I went to support, they credited it for me, and I still have the credits on my account. Like you can still see them. So I got a refund, but yeah, like that surprise billing thing is just like it exists. Vercel has that problem. Netlify has that problem. AWS has this problem. GCP, they all have this problem. It's true. Like you get a specific bill for like a VPS provider. And if that's really what you need, like I hear you, but there are tools for this. And all of the clouds have them in some way. So there's just like a setting you can push. Whether or not it should be on by default, I'm not sure, man. New AWS accounts now have very low Lambda concurrency by default to prevent abuse. So I think that will help you already. Like you can see my account limit was like 697. That is now, I think it's down to like 10. When you create a brand new Lambda function account, all of your global functions can use a max of 10. And that is a thing, that like you can fight that, or you have to fight that. You have to go and like raise that limit all the time if you're going to do any kind of production deployment, and that kind of sucks. But it's there to, protect them from abuse, and it's there to protect you. Yeah, exactly. Had the same scenario, ran a database. So someone in Twitch chat said they had the same scenario, set up a database for testing purposes, forgot to terminate it, ended up with a huge bill, contacted AWS, and they took it off the bill. That's what I always recommend. If they will look at the usage metrics, and if you spun up some instance and just never used it, they'll like, yeah, it never actually costs them anything because these are virtual machines. So they'll remove that for you almost always. So that's probably fine. Azure did the same for me. 800 plus in VM cost. Who had the okay? Chat. Who ran up the biggest bill? We got $800. Let's hear it. What are your horror stories? Give me these cloud horror stories. Who ran up the biggest bill? I've got mine's still in the like 4 digits. I think I spent like $8,000 on a weekend in an infinite loop for Lambda back when you could do that. $12K. Yeah, regalias. Intern scaled up Fargate for a POC and never scaled it back down. Ooh, yeah. That is, yeah. I would say AWS is a lot less forgiving for those mistakes from companies than they are about like a solo developer. Because you're professional. Like that's, you know, and it's not even really intern's fault at that point, right? That is like the company has got to do better. It's a company thing. Yep, that's classic. 12K. All right. You had a Palo Alto VM running, they wouldn't refund. Yeah, if you have any like licensed IP, then it won't happen. Yeah, that does. Fargate will cost money. That because that is consuming CPU cycles. I mean, your database does too, but they're usually, I mean, for like I said, for a solo developer, they're usually pretty cool with that. Maybe we'll do that in a follow-up tweet. Boom, boom. Okay. So there we go. There's the tweet. So, Stoke, we got this running, and to follow my own advice, we'll go ahead. Oh, we got a re-off. Boom. Joich, what up, man? We just set up an app runner app and a Lambda function running the exact same container. The exact same application. Look at this. It just works. It just boom. It's just there. It just works. Same thing. Same code. But we'll spin it down now because we're done. Boom, boom, boom. Delete. Oh yeah, I'll add the Lambda web adapter. We can do that. I plug this so much on stream. You got an M3 Mac, you lucky duck. Snow Foundry, hey, thanks for the follow. What to download, configure. You've seen everything I use in my professional day-to-day. I'm Tmux and NeoVim. So I would set up Tige's Kickstart, demo. That's what I normally do. And then that's how that gets rolling for me. And everything else on the Mac, I don't know, set the key repeat delay to the lowest you can. If you own it, you can do more. This device is a company device, so I can't make some changes, but they let me stream on it, which is cool. Appreciate that. Lambda web adapter to easily create one. There we go. There's the tweet. Yo, thanks for that. Thanks for the likes, y'all. You chose an XPS 13. Now they're forcing you Mac. No. We were just about to talk about this on stream. your remote dev environment is goated. Like, today I'm SSH into a Synology device and I'm building my container image on x86. But you can do, just rent a VPS and then you can build everything. You get offload all that stuff, man. You already set up the key delay. Yeah, that's probably the first thing I do in any Mac device. What did AWS just email me for? Your request for accessing resources. Oh, I don't know what I accessed. Oh, it's got to be my relogin attempt. Yeah, so you just set this to, set that concurrency to 2 and you're fine. That's not provision concurrency though. This is a little weird. Oh yeah, the key delete, that's so slow. That's still so slow. That's maxed out. Provision concurrency is how many functions you want to stick around all the time. Reserved concurrency is the maximum number of concurrent executions you can have, which will effectively keep your set your price max. All right, do we delete this? Oh yeah, deleted. How much am I spending on ECS or ECR? We could look at my bill too. I got a bunch of containers here. Maybe not that many. But I think you only get 500 megabytes for free. And I mean, each of these have different images, right? I guess it's only 40. Yeah, it's super annoying, George. Okay, sweet. Let's log in here. Okay, so that should be down now. Yep, good. This one will still work because it's Lambda. That's fine. Boom, sweet. Yeah, Lambda web adapter. That's great. That's my Synology. Not doing that today. Anything new on the AWS subreddit? No. Okay, that's cool. Boom. Oh yeah, we finally got Docker context working. That's sick. Okay, let's talk about this. This is on my to-do list today. This cracks me up. Dell said to return to the office or else, and nearly half of workers chose, quote, or else. Okay. Big tech companies are still trying to rally workers back into physical offices, and many workers are still not having it. Based on a recent report, computer maker Dell has stumbled even more than most. This is a huge self-own on their end. Dell announced a new RTO initiative. In this plan, workers had to classify themselves either as hybrid or remote. Those who classify themselves as hybrid are subject to a tracking system, which ensures they're in the physical office 39 days per quarter, which works out close to 3 days per work week. Alternatively, by classifying themselves as remote, workers agree they can no longer be promoted or hired into new roles within the company. What the hell? Oh man, what is that shit? That is so wild to agree to that. And then the thing about promotions at companies is that you don't get promoted until you are doing the job. You don't get promoted until the typically it's 6 months to a year, depending on the level. They want to see you operating at that, senior level or that staff level for 6 months to a year. And then the promotion is a recognition of that work. Why on earth would you then incentivize people and just say that will never happen? So they will never push above. They will never go above. The whole idea is to reward hard work. Now what they've said is 50% of people are just never going to put in that extra effort. Elusive sounds like my company. Hey, welcome back to chat. Yeah, wild to make that the policy. I don't know how that bounced around a boardroom, but that is just why would you do that to your company culture? And why would you do that to your skill base? And look, I'm an in-office person. I'm an in-office employee. I work in an office 5 days a week by choice. I obviously have a nice setup here, but I like going in. I like, my team isn't there, but I like making friends there. I moved to a new city. That's how I make friends. It's good for me. It works for me. But I could not imagine sitting in a boardroom and saying the way to get people back in is to tell them they'll never be promoted, because that's a way to get people to just go work somewhere else. That's what that is. And if the plan is attrition, there's a billion other ways to achieve that without this, setting this out like this. Because now what you have is a bunch of people that would have been remote and stayed and performed better to get a promotion, or just because they are intrinsically motivated people that want to be good at what they do, which I think is great. And they're just not going to do that at Dell anymore. They're going to go somewhere else. Business Insider claims it has seen internal Dell tracking data and reveals that nearly 50% of the workforce have opted to accept the consequences of staying remote, undermining Dell's plan to restore its in-office culture. Yes. Last Rated Digits, hey, welcome to chat. Thanks for dropping by. I work for a company that has everyone back 3 days a week, except for those of us that were approved to be fully remote, but I can't be promoted either. That's interesting. Team leads and above have to be in the office at least 3 days. Yeah. Wow. Are you working at a company named after a rainforest in South America? Slide into my DMs if you are. That's tough. To be totally clear, Datadog has, you're kind of either classified as remote or in office. We do have, I think it's like 3 days a week is the expected attending, but they're split. Like we are hiring remote people. I think we don't have nearly as many roles here, but obviously like they're there. And it just depends on the team. So you can find them. For the folks who are talking about working in Portugal, there's remote roles that like you could be in Portugal or remote, totally fine. But I don't think we have nothing about promotions. I know for a fact that like we have a couple of senior engineers that just got promoted to staff and they're fully remote. So I don't think that has been the case. And we have like directors and such that are fully remote. Oh, fintech. 18 years, you've done the TL management path. I want to be a full-time dev again. Yeah. I've done both. Yeah. A big part of my career was doing, I managed people for a number of years. I've started at Datadog 2 different teams and was a manager for them. And then, either handed them off or, they got reorged or merged with other folks. And now I don't have any direct reports. I'm sure I'll have more reports again at some point. It's kind of part of the gig. Business Insider spoke with dozens of Dell employees to hear their stories why they chose to stay remote, and a variety of reasons came up. Some said they enjoyed more free time and less strain on their finances after going remote, and nothing could convince them to give that up now. Others said that local offices had closed during the pandemic or that they weren't interested in promotions. This part is wild. So like imagine getting a job in your city 5 years ago, going into an office every day, closes for the pandemic, then they close the office permanently, and now they tell you you either have to be remote and never get promoted again, or you have to move to another city. No relocation bonus, I think for the remote, this people fine, but the people that like were in an office every day and now like their office is gone, like that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. The pointlessness of going into an office, totally true. And I do this every day, but like I said, I still like going in there. For me, it helps. My gym is at my office, so I go there and work out. That's great for me. But yeah, still on Zoom calls every day. That's true. One person said they spoke with colleagues who had chosen to go remote, and that those colleagues reported doing more work in mostly empty offices, punctuated with video calls with people who are in other mostly emptied offices. Yeah, I mean that's absolutely true. Many interviewed admitted they were looking for work at other companies that aren't trying to corral employees back to the office. I imagine that absolutely. Dell's not the only company struggling with this. We reported several times on Apple internal struggles and the employee revolts over remote work. Executive management at the company is trying to restore in-person work culture, claiming that working together in physical space allows for greater collaboration and innovation. I also think that there were some big, like 50,000 people in Amazon joined some like Slack channel about the RTO thing, so that I get. Research is mixed, but there does seem to be consensus that remote work is accompanied by very modest drops in productivity. Stanford Institute for Economic Policy Research suggested a 10% drop in productivity, even though it noted that the cost-saving benefits of remote work could work out for more than that. Productivity is an interesting one. I think some people work well with oversight and some people don't. And at a certain point in your career, you're not going to have a ton of oversight anyway, so you should just learn how to do that. Hot take. Last Rated Digits, my commute is horrible. 3.5 hours on good days. Oh my God. I am a 15-minute bike ride right now. But certainly if I moved further out and it was like an 1.5-hour commute, I would be a remote person. I mean, I was remote for a long time. I worked remotely from Minneapolis for a number of years. Like for Datadog. I got hired there remotely. Wow. Well, Dell, I don't know why, like if you wanted to fire people without severance, I think there's other ways to do that. But this policy of no promotions is so wild. That is just very, I don't know. I mean, I think like if you wanted people to actually quit, they would do what Amazon did, which is everyone back to the office 3 days a week, no remote, you know? And then it's just like, then they get the attrition they wanted. So I don't know why they like picking this whole policy of like, you're not going to get promoted is a little goofy. I don't really like that part. Strikes me as like, they're actually so incompetent that they think that this policy would actually work for getting people back in. I don't think their goal is attrition here. I really think their goal is to maybe some attrition of like people that aren't doing any work, but for whatever reason, they don't want to fire them. But I think in reality, they actually thought this would work, which is utterly inept. Unbelievable. All right. I'm going to have to save this tweet for next time. Why hash tables are very, very often not even remotely close to OL1 performance, because I do have to run. I've been here for 2 hours and I got a baby coming, so I got to go do some baby prep. Let's find someone to raid. Boom, boom. Who is online? Melky, Prime's playing Elden Ring, Trash Puppy, we've rated there. Oh yeah, thanks, Lacer Digits. Yeah, that's why there's a, oh yeah, here we can, that's why there's all this baby stuff in the background. Yeah, Mage, thanks. Hey, yeah, Elusive, thanks. And for folks who are just tuning in for the first time, I really appreciate it if you could drop a follow, much appreciated. And thanks for spending your Saturday morning or Saturday with me. We'll go ahead and raid Melky. Let's go. But yeah, good book for tech manager stuff. Oh yeah, easily. This is my favorite book. First, break all the rules. Get this book. This is my, if you're a brand new manager, if you're just starting, get this book. This is my recommendation. So here, we'll do this. Boom. I'll post this into Twitch chat. I buy this book for people on my team who we move to manager roles. So definitely this one. All right. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Take care. Maybe see you tomorrow, hopefully. We're going to go check out Melky's stream. Bye.